Welcome back, dude and dudettes, to another wild episode of Send It Mate. We're here to talk about all things hunting and outdoors. And today, we've got something that'll keep your gear running smoother than a dingo's getaway.
That's right. Our show is brought to you by High Caliber, the gun and knife oil company that knows how to keep your firearms and blades in tip-top shape.
High Caliber is like the secret sauce for hunters, anglers, and outdoorsy folk everywhere. It's like the magic potion that makes your gun and knives happier than a dog with two tails.
You know, guys, I've been using High Caliber oil for a while now, and let me tell you, it's the duck's nuts. My rifle practically sings a lullaby when I take it out hunting.
And speaking of lullabies, ever tried sneaking up on a deer with a squeaky gun? It's a prime way to end up with no venison in the freezer. You'll be hungrier than a vegan at a bacon festival.
Absolutely. But with High Caliber oil, your gun will be quieter than a ninja in moonlight. You'll be stalking your prey with the grace and stealth of a mountain lion.
High Caliber doesn't just keep things quiet, it also prevents rust and corrosion, so you won't find your gear looking like it spent a season at the bottom of a creek.
That's right, and for you knife enthusiasts out there, High Caliber has got you covered too. Your trusty blade will slice through anything smoother than butter on a hot biscuit.
So, folks, don't let your gear become a rusty, squeaky mess. Head on over to highcaliber.com.au and grab a bottle of their oil today.
And if you use the code SENDITMATE at checkout, you'll get a special discount. I say again, use the code SENDITMATE for all your oil slick, stealthy hunting needs.
Thanks to High Caliber, you'll be sending it in style and silence.
So, gear up, oil up, and send it, mate. High Caliber, the ultimate oil for the ultimate hunter.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
What's going on, dude and dudettes?
Welcome, welcome, welcome to another edition of Send It Mate podcast. I'm Caleb.
I'm Josh.
And I am Ryan.
We've got another guest this week.
We do.
Lucky you guys out there listening. We've been racking them up this year, so
It's been good. It's been good.
It
What's
has.
our ratio? Have we been 50-50? Have we got more?
Oh, I reckon
60-40.
I reckon we're about 50-50. Nearly.
Nearly.
It's pretty good. People love a guest, and yes, we do have another special guest on the show this week. We have Ross from High Caliber Cleaning Supplies. Ross, how you going?
Yeah, good. Thanks for having me on, boys.
Well,
Our pleasure.
I got to press a button.
The sound guy's not doing his job properly.
yeah. Well, thanks for making it, mate. There's extenuating circumstances that happened. Well, today or last night. Sorry. So.
Apologise for being late. I must admit I was trolling for a few hours of CCTV footage because my car got broken into last night.
Outside your house?
Yeah, outside my house in the driveway, yeah.
Oh, wow. Wow. That doesn't happen too often. Anything valuable been nicked?
Well, me hunting radio with all the channels and stuff on it, that was, that's pretty important. I'm going to have to buy another one now, and they're not cheap. And yeah, look, it looks like all me bloody phone cables and charging cables, Garmin charging cables, all that stuff was gone. But they left some good stuff for me. They didn't take my drive track or my 2 fishing rods or anything else, which was in the back. So they obviously didn't know what they were doing. Fucking dumb cunts.
they took your charging. Mate, the amount of time, how many times have you found that you need a charging cable but you haven't got one?
See, to me, that screams kids.
Yeah,
like
probably.
Like 15-year-olds that are bored in the area that are like, oh, let's go jack some shit.
Mum's probably stolen their fucking cables because they'll be naughty, so they thought they'd jack one from a car.
Well, I'm saying she, and because I'll explain the story. There was a half a smoked cigarette left on the driver's seat that I reckon startled him when the dog started barking, and she's dropped her cigarette and it's covered in lipstick.
Oh,
hey, mate, it's 2021. You can't assume these things.
that's true.
No, you can't.
It could be a he.
DNA, there you go.
So
Take that to the
a
top.
person left a cigarette,
Yeah.
but the police came and took that. Hopefully they pulled some DNA off it, but who knows?
Well,
If they're
it's-
in the system, it's probably a high probability that they'll get stung.
I'm sorry to hear about that, Ross. But
Yeah,
I
and I'm
think
sorry for being late.
Nah,
absolutely
That's so
fine. we're flexible.
Yeah, we if you listen back to last week's episode, you would note that we're all late all the time except for Caleb. So we can't.
Taylor's pretty punctual.
He's very punctual.
We'll give him that.
Yeah, well, thank you. I've got to take something away from this. Anyway, let's get this show on the road and get into our questions for Ross. And Ross, really basic one to start with. Where are you from?
I'm from England, but I'm living in Melbourne, Victoria at the moment.
Wait for it. I'm from London. Sorry,
Where is that
You're
from?
from London, bro.
Nice one. How long have you been out in Australia?
Yeah, about 10 years.
Oh, very good. What made you come over?
Work and just a bit of a break from work. But yeah, ended up getting one of those 4-year business visas that went for another 4 years, that then was 8 years. And then, by that time you've got, a wife and kids and a house and everything else, and you kind of need to make things more permanent.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
Definitely. Do you like it here?
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, it's great.
Do you miss home at all?
Yeah, I do. I think some of the hunting and fishing is definitely underrated. We do things a little bit differently there, and it's definitely good. And not saying that there isn't a pub culture in Australia, but the pub culture is different, and I guess I miss some of that. But yeah, for the most part, no, it's great to be here.
Some of the hunting over there seems a little more formal, sort of a bit more organised and laid out and prim and proper.
You're saying like tweed suits and shit?
Yeah, no, it's a lot of tweed. You wear a shirt and tie to go hunting.
Good God.
That sounds like Ryan's bag, I reckon.
Fucking oath, man. It's business time. You wear your fucking business socks.
Settled.
No, it's fucking awesome because everyone's just as loose. Like you're just wearing it. You just dress smart, but you're still drinking port in the morning.
They're fucking loose as shit, but they look good doing it.
Yeah, that's half
That's
the
it,
battle.
mate. You got it. You nailed it on the head.
Exactly right.
Very good. Well, you must be happy to be out of lockdown being in Victoria.
Yeah, just come out. Yesterday was today is our first Monday out of lockdown. So yeah, we came out Friday night. Snuck up the bush for a hunt on Saturday.
Ooh,
Perfect.
Nice.
How'd you
Get
go?
anything?
Yeah, got a stag off. We took a few dogs. It's the last weekend of hound season, and we took 5 dogs up, and yeah, I got a stag.
Nice. Well, we'll have to get into that a bit later because we've actually been saying we should get someone who hound hunts on the podcast to learn a bit more about it because it's quite foreign to the three of us. So we'll have to pick your brain. All right, Ross, what's your favourite food?
Mexican, probably.
It's a popular option, actually.
It is.
Very popular.
Yeah.
It's good food.
Yeah.
So
Spicy, or do you like it like vanilla?
Nah, you gotta be spicy. Gotta be a ring stinger, I reckon.
That's it.
That's the way.
You got to pay for it after. It's part of the experience.
Melting your toilet bowl after the experience.
It's not for everyone, but
Funny thing about that, we actually saw a photo of your shit.
Oh, yeah.
Earlier today. Thanks very much.
While we're waiting for you, Ross, I was doing a little bit of show and tell in my photography today. Show them a picture of my shit.
you may have picked up this isn't a highbrow podcast. All right, let's keep it moving. Ross, what was your first job?
I went straight into mechanics at the age of 14.
Mechanic. So
I did a pre-apprenticeship through school, and did 2 days a week at school, 1 day a week of work experience, and 2 days a week at a college. You guys probably call it a TAFE.
Yep.
And then did that from the age of 14. Obviously, finished school at 16. So did that for 2 years as what they call a pre-apprenticeship. Kind of like they offered it for people that weren't going to be academics and didn't want to go to college to study, academics and then go on to do, doctors, lawyers, that kind of stuff. They offered you could do carpentry, bricklaying, stuff like that at the age of 14 with through a special program if you wanted to.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, and I did that until up about 12 months ago, and now I'm in the fishing industry.
Tell us a bit more about that. How'd you land in the fishing industry?
So I guess COVID, like everyone, the great resignation made me reassess life issues. Actually, kind of lost my job, I guess. Things weren't going great before COVID, and I was looking to move on, and my boss knew that. I was looking to kind of move on, just biding my time. And then when COVID hit and all the work dried up, it was kind of a good. People say mutual, all the time, and it never really is. But I guess it kind of was as mutual as it could be. Like at the time, I guess I was worried that I wouldn't find another job, but I also was pretty happy to be leaving. And then I thought I'd follow the passion and started working in the fishing industry.
Had you started High Caliber at that stage?
I'd been going with High Caliber for probably close to 8 months or something.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, that's all right.
So I did have income. I did stay home for not stay home. I worked solidly on High Caliber for about 3 months. In that 3 month period, I built my website, got like Ozpost integration, turned a little bit of a kind of backyard thing into a proper business and got all the paperwork and that sorted, I guess, within those 3 months. And then I started, another day job, I guess.
Mm. It seems like High Caliber's blossomed a fair bit, actually, in the last few years.
Mate, I've been lucky. I think it's just got into the right hands. The product speaks for itself too. I mean, you've used it, Josh.
Yeah.
It is a high quality product, and I think once people get their hands on it, they know how long it lasts. And no, mate, I've been really, really lucky. I think all up since we started, we've sold well over 1,000 bottts.
Oh, congratulations!
Nice.
Very good, very good.
Yeah.
It is an amazing product. I will just interject, and out of all the other oils out there, I lived in a place where it was rather wet and damp, and oil would run off typically off the firearms, in storage. And I started using High Caliber, and it sticks quite very, very well and lasts. It's a noticeable period of how long it lasts between other oils that I've used previously. So highly rated, actually. The only thing is the bottle lasts, and it lasts so long you don't have to buy it too often.
Well, that's testament to a good product.
You don't. You're right. I've kind of done myself out of a bit of money there. I should have made it more expensive and smaller bottles.
Yeah.
Watered it down or something.
Yeah.
So just on that, is this a formula that you've come up with yourself through some sort of trial and error?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and I didn't want to rebrand anything else. And so obviously being in the motor trade, I was in there for a long, long, long time, got up to foreman and speaking to reps every day. And I spoke to reps in my area, or the reps that I used to deal with that are in this local in Melbourne. They're chemical or engineers. They're, what do you call them? Industrial chemists. And I spoke to them about this idea, and they said, "Oh, well, we used to do that years ago, but we haven't done it in a while." And so they thought it was going to be real easy. They thought, "Oh yeah, we'll just chuck some stuff in a tin and that was it." But no, it's actually a lot more trial and error than you probably would think that would go into it. But we actually broke down, a lot of the big name brands. I don't know. Like I broke down, I bought Gunslick, Ram Oil, Hoppies, all of those oils. And we heated them up and cooled them down, and just to see how much solvent they had in them to how much oil. And we did the same with Inox and WD-40, because I know a lot of people use those as well. And it's like the gun oils were very similar. All of them were quite similar in their levels of like cleaning solvents to base oil. And then like WD-40 was so different, and Inox was so different again. And you just shouldn't be using that stuff when you're gun.
I got a little story here, actually. So I had a couple of mates here in South Australia many, many years ago, and I'd gone out with them, and a young lad, one of their friends, was out with us, and he borrowed his dad's semi-22, and they didn't have any oil to slick up the action, so they ended up getting oil off the dipstick and put it into the working parts of this little semi-22. And I just looked at him like, this isn't a good idea, lads. But that's all right.
Far out. Did it go all right or what?
For about 10 rounds, and then it jammed. Yeah. I think the metal filings in it may have had something to do with that, but that's all right.
Jeez. All right. Well, I think we might come around to some more high caliber stuff. But we'll keep.
Well, just quickly, the fishing. How's that? What does that entail?
My job.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I work at the Fly Fisher, which is a retail store in the city, but we do a lot of different things. We like consult on travel. All of us there, we're a pretty small team that is growing because we've done a lot of hard work over the COVID period and tried to grow the business. We've hustled quite hard. So yeah, we've got a lot of experienced fly fishermen, and if people want to do, a particular bucket list trip, we kit them out with gear, get them in touch with guides, tailor make the trip for them basically. And it's a lot of fun. The clients are great. There's always time off to go fishing. You always get invited on fishing stuff, and no, it's awesome. And me and my boss, we did a lot of the work on our own, just us two working over COVID, and we had a lot of fun, and and it was fun growing the business.
Oh, that's good.
Nice one.
That's good. That sounds like a bloody good job, actually.
Yeah, no, it is. It's fun. Like, it doesn't pay what a foreman in a workshop pays, but you're not looking after, a heap of blokes that hate you every day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's true. You're probably not watching the clock all day either.
No, you're not. No, like I got into work this morning for the first kind of Monday back, and looked at my watch again, and it was bloody 4:10, and I'm like, wow, the day's just gone. Like that was so fast.
Beautiful. All right, Ross, if you could trade places with anyone in the world, who would that be?
Wow. I don't know. I love my life.
Anyone, even if it's just for a week.
Yeah, 24 hours.
I guess this is probably going to sound, I don't know, maybe like someone like that Dan Blissarian bloke and just live it up for 24 hours.
Yes.
Oh, God. Can you imagine?
I wouldn't want his
up to?
life, but I'd maybe for 24 hours I would.
You wouldn't want his STDs either. But...
Leave them there, thanks.
Yeah. No, well, he's a bit of a party boy, so live it up for a bit.
That's it. You'd have a good 24 hours,
Oh, I reckon you would.
As long as you don't if the 24 hours is up before you have to endure the hangover and come down, then fuck yeah.
You're assuming a lot of things here, Ron.
I'm just thinking what I would do. And needless to say, I'd probably leave the body of Dad just before he dies from God knows what I've put into his system.
AIDS.
Who would you guys pick? That's a kind of interesting question. What do you reckon you guys would pick?
Oh, dude.
It's a hard one, isn't it?
We've spoken about this briefly before, as Caleb turned the questioning around and asked in one episode.
Yeah, we did.
I can't even remember what my answer was, but I would probably be quite similar to you, where I'd choose either Dan Bazilda or I'd pick Oprah. And I would just fuck shit up, like just
Ellen DeGeneres.
Or Ellen DeGeneres.
So you're gonna ruin.
I'm thinking of Donald Trump Jr.
Yeah,
He lived
man.
that high corporate life and all that politics stuff for a day. I reckon that.
Fuck,
You
you'd
know,
see
that'd
some
be
shit, wouldn't you? You'd see some shit.
You'd make him go bankrupt in the amount of guns you'd buy in 24-hour period, I reckon.
Yeah.
Or I'd just buy the United States.
Yeah, you might be waiting on the paperwork for that a little bit longer than 24 hours, man.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. No, you just buy a heap of guns and ship them to your address.
Yes, there you go. Forward thinking.
Couple houses, maybe a fucking Lambo.
Yeah, so
just set yourself up.
just be anyone who's a billionaire, use all their money, and then go back to your life.
That's a smart way of doing it.
Elon Musk, that'd be an interesting 24 hours.
Could you imagine being in his brain for 24 hours? Fucking hell.
Yeah, it'd be unreal.
I'd love that.
That'd be crazy.
That would be
awesome.
full on.
Yeah. Who was it? It wasn't Elon, it was the other fella that had the spaceship that looked like a dick.
What?
Oh, didn't you see the
Yeah, no, I don't know what you're
SpaceX
talking
or-
about, Josh. You didn't make that up, but
It looks like a giant dick. Like dead set.
Yeah.
Just
No,
thinking
no,
of
you're
Austin
right.
Powers when they've got like the
Yeah.
radar with the dick.
Johnson,
Yes.
Wiener.
That's the one.
Right, Austin Powers, bloody hell, it's got to be the best movie ever. Right?
Fuck yeah.
It's up there. It's up there. All right, Ross, do you have kids?
Yeah, I've got a daughter.
Oh, very nice. How old is she?
She's 7 months.
Ooh.
Right.
A lot of I guess have very young children. So how's the sleep? Are you getting any?
The last week, kind of every other night, she's for the first time started to sleep through. So I reckon we're not too bad. But I don't, being a hunter and up all hours in the night to try and get places. I thought I was pretty good at little sleep, but it's next level having a kid. Like,
Yeah, man.
There's always a night that you can get like 12 hours sleep if you've had, a big weekend. But yeah, when you got a kid, that just goes. There's no time to get extra sleep in.
Yeah.
100%. Well, Ryan and I are both fathers, so we're trying to impress on Josh how much sleep deprivation you get. So I don't think he has any idea.
Well, wait a second. What do you mean I don't have any idea? Sleep debt was a thing in the army, man.
No, it's totally different.
No.
Nah.
This isn't like
But
a
in
2
the
week.
army,
Yeah.
in the army, would you get in the 7-month period of being in the army? Would you get probably one night where you could get a good sleep?
No, I didn't sleep well in the army at all, ever.
To be fair, you don't sleep well still. So
Fair enough. That's okay.
Look, in 7 months, you probably would, and if not, you'd find a spot to close your eyes and tell everyone else to nick off and leave you alone. But typically, there are cases where you're on the go pretty consistently, and you do pick it at night and things like that. So, your sleep is going to be broken pretty consistently. But you don't have to babysit a child the next day. So you just got to babysit
That's
yourself.
it. Yeah.
That's
no,
true.
I think that's the hard part.
Yeah.
backing it up the next day. All right, Ross, what's the most dangerous thing you've ever done?
Ooh, done some fucking stupid shit when I was younger.
Back in London.
Yeah. Oh, probably shouldn't. Yeah, probably shouldn't say this one. When you ask me anything you don't want to talk about. So, I think
Don't incriminate yourself.
No, I don't want to incriminate myself, but maybe when we were younger, maybe before any of us had licenses, there was a parent's car that was borrowed and crashed pretty badly. I'll leave it at that.
Or you crashed it.
Yeah,
allegedly.
Yeah, it was that bad that it took them like 7 months to repair the thing.
Bloody hell. Ouch. Bloody
It
hell.
was like a 6 month wait at the repair shop. But yeah, that was just something you did when you were stupid, I guess. But yeah, I guess I've found myself in a few hairy situations, but always, I don't know. So that's a tricky one. I've traveled the world and you get yourself into sticky situations in a lot of different places.
Did your mate's family find out that it was you?
Yeah, it was kind of like, at the time it was kind of like, oh yeah, it'll be funny if you take my car around the block, but then it went a bit further than around the block. It was kind of like they kind of let us kind of take it, but they gave us an inch and we took 50 miles,
Yeah, as you do.
Yeah, man.
Boys will be
Yeah,
boys.
you do. Definitely. What about, have you come across any hairy situations whilst hunting?
Well, I wouldn't say I've ever been close to being shot at by someone. I guess we've chasing hounds. Sometimes it's getting dark and the hounds have got away from you. We've hopped in some cars and not really. Like, we've hammered around some corners and stuff. But look, I wouldn't say I've ever had a sketchy situation hunting, to be honest. It's all been pretty safe.
No falling down any cliffs or anything like that?
No, but I guess I've been in situations where you could. Like, I've been, rock climbing to try and get to spots, and you're climbing down cliffs and into gullies and into rivers and falling into rivers and going under and drowning everything. But yeah, I don't know. That's just all part and parcel of it, I reckon.
Yeah, that's true.
There you go.
It's not dangerous if your perception is different.
No, it's definitely dangerous. I've fallen in a river, like standing on the side of a river, like a raging river. I wasn't hunting or fishing. Like, I was fishing during the day, but I was having a few tinnies standing by the river on the Goulburn at the kayak course, like the full blown, it's raging, and I fell in there, and that was pretty dangerous.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
Don't drink and swim, kids.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, dear.
All right. Best piece of advice you've ever been given?
Someone said something to me the other day. I reckon someone said to me, your job is to do or die, not to question why. I think that might be an army thing, but I reckon I've lived my work ethic like that. And I think that's always driven me to more. And I think that's a good piece of advice you could give to like someone young that thinks that the world owes them something, and because they went to uni and got a degree, they should earn $200,000 their first year out.
It's getting worse. That isn't it? It's getting absolutely worse.
Yeah, like especially in the motor trade. I've gone through heaps of apprentices in my years and years in the motor trade. I've done like 17 years all up, and they just ask, why'd you do this? Why'd you do it? And sometimes it's valid, but other times it's like, fucking stop asking why. This is how you do it. This is how it's done. You don't need to fucking know why.
Shut up and do it.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, dear. That was my dad growing up. It's like, just do what you're told and shut up.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I was an apprentice when I got told that. Don't question why. Just your job is to not question why, but to do or die.
Yeah, that's a Band of Brothers. That's actually a famous quote on Band of Brothers. I think. Oh no, it wasn't Captain Winners, but I do remember that it is an army term, definitely.
Yeah, there you go. It's a good one. I like it. Now, Ross, what is your most treasured possession?
Materialistic.
Oh, yeah, okay, probably my Land Cruiser.
Oi,
Hey.
79.
No, I got 105 series.
Ah, very nice.
Very good.
Very nice.
Yeah, and I never thought I was ever going to be able to afford one. And I wanted one for years and years and years. And I wanted like maybe a Rangy in the UK. And then I came here and I could see people with them and I realised how fucking expensive they were. And I go, how the fuck does anyone afford one of these? And then you work and work and work and work. And then eventually the right one comes up and you got the money in the bank. And yeah, I was wrapped.
They it'd probably be even more wrapped because the prices of them at the moment have
sky high.
It seems as though you can drive one out of the dealer and instantly it's worth 20k more.
Yeah, I reckon I've definitely made money on mine for sure. Like I didn't pay much for mine at all as a trade-in when I was working as a mechanic, and I had to spend probably as much as I bought it for on it to fix it all up and get it roadworthy. It was a good car when I bought it, but there was a few bits and pieces that I wanted to do: roof racks, ball bar, radio, drawer systems, all of that. And I dropped, quite a few thousand on it from day one.
Yeah. And that was the one that was broken into?
Yeah.
Oh, bugger.
Damn. No windows were smashed.
No, I went out this morning, saw that the driver's door was open, looked in the driver's door, seen that the center console had been completely emptied.
Mm-hmm.
Like they just cleaned out the center console. Most of the contents was over the driveway. So I opened up the back door, locked. Open up the boot, locked. All the other doors locked. So I don't know really what they've done, but they've obviously managed to manipulate it somehow. Maybe, it's an older car now, but they've managed to get into it. Or for some reason, I'd left the front door open ajar, or the seatbelt was caught. I don't know. There's nothing. It's weird. Everything else was locked apart from the driver's door, but they've gone in there somehow.
You can buy these little pillow jacks, or they're like an expandable sort of pillow that you jam between the doors, and you just pump it up with a hand pump, and it pops the seal, and then you can, on those older style vehicles, you can put a rod down and hock the door open with.
I kind of feel like if they had gone to that length, then they probably would have had a bit of smarts about them to take the $1,200 dog tracker that was sitting right next to the $800, the $200 radio.
And not leave a cigarette butt on the
they
seat.
probably looked at it.
And not leave a cigarette butt. I can't. Yeah, so I've seen people. Like obviously, I've had to break into lots of cars in the motor trade, cars that people lose their keys and stuff like that. And but I kind of feel like if they knew how to do that, they might have, stolen a few more valuable things. But hey ho.
All right, Ross, recommend a movie to us.
Oh, well, Austin Powers, we've already spoken about that one.
Oh, yeah.
Very nice. Very nice.
No, that's fair.
I watched the new Guy Ritchie film, The Gentleman, last night.
Oh, that's a
Yes.
cracker.
Yes.
That's a good one. I like that.
Yeah. I like the spin at the end when it all comes comes to sort of this massive conclusion at the end, and you're like, yep, that was well done.
He's a genius at like all these different people, organisations, groups, but they all cross paths somewhere.
Yeah.
He does that really well. You know, they're all on their own little missions, but they're affecting other people. I think the way that he writes those things is incredible.
Yeah, for sure. No, that's a good one. All right, Ross, what was your first rifle?
A Wyrack, or however you pronounce it, 2.2 German gun.
Ah, very nice, very nice. You still would have it?
I think I left it in the UK with a lot of my other guns, and I phoned my uncle maybe last week, and he said, that one's gone, and I pulled the sights off that one to put on another gun, and I've got one of the other guns left, and I'm putting some sights on that, and that's going to go to a young lad up the road. So, it's somewhere, but it's not in my possession anymore.
So I have two questions with this, actually. One, obviously being an immigrant, do you have your firearms license here, and like how did you go through that process?
Oh, that's an awesome question, actually. Yeah, I had to jump through a few extra hoops. So did the kind of standard things that you need to do to get your firearms license, go and do the test, have your referrals, blah, blah, blah. But then they asked me if I was staying in Australia, if it was my permanent home, and how could I prove that, and had any links to the community. So basically I got my boss to write me a letter to say, Ross is, a permanent member of our team. We've employed him for a number of years, blah, blah, blah. I've also been a member of the fishing club for about 6 years at the time. Mm-hmm. So I didn't get my gun license straight away. I waited a while, and I bow hunted for a period of time. But so I was in the fishing club, and the secretary at the club wrote me a really nice letter to say, Ross has, been an integral member of the club. He was on the committee and blah, blah, blah. So I had really good, strong links to the community, assimilation in the community. And, and then, I got it on, I appealed and got my license basically. But it wasn't as easy as it would have been if I was a citizen.
Yeah, it's and even then it's still not easy being a citizen getting your license. So it must have been a painstaking process, that's for sure.
Well, I bumped my kind of request up a little bit where I had private land to hunt on, because I'd already been hunting. I'd already had mates that were hunting. I'd been bow hunting and rifle hunting on private property for a number of years before I thought that I wanted to, not just borrow a gun and stand next to a bloke in the bush. I went to do it myself and kind of worked out there was ways to do it. And I got really friendly with my DFO at the time. And he was like, look, I don't see an issue with it. And, I'll, blah, 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 but it's not up to me at the end of the day, but this is what you need to do. And he helped me quite a lot, actually. And he was good. He was on the phone with me and said, can you get a letter from this bloke? Can you do this? So, that was, that was good. And, I got it.
Very good. The other part to my question is, now we think we have some quite stringent gun laws here in Australia, but when I think about the UK, I don't know if it's just it probably is just my naivety, but how hard is it, how difficult it is to become a firearm owner in the UK?
So to own a shotgun is quite easy. 12 grade shotgun is a separate license altogether. It's on a shotgun license, not a firearms license. Mm-hmm. And they're fairly easy to get. Kind of if you're a member of a gun club or you want to shoot clays or wing shoot or birds, whatever, they're pretty easy to get. But when 2.2's not too bad, but when you start stepping up to those deer calibers, there's extra courses, bits and pieces you've got to go through. I'm probably not the best person to talk to about it, because my uncle was a deer warden for our local council, and we had to jump through a lot of extra hoops because we could shoot on public land, but we were the only ones that had access to that land to shoot on. Mm-hmm. So there was dog walkers, other woodland users in the air at the same time. We used to put signs up and say deer culling going on, and he had to do, like, they call them DSC, which is deer stalker certificate, and they do like level 1, 2 and 3, and you have to go out with rangers and guides and shoot deer and butcher them. We had to do like food hygiene courses, butchering courses. So there was a lot to do what we did, but my uncle at the time had access to a lot of woodlands, and we could hunt lots of different species of deer at a few different places under, for the council as almost like a kind of like a paid job.
Yep. Can you still get a centerfire for range use, or is that not really?
Don't know. Never shot at a range. Never really been into sports shooting. Always just been a hunter and had them as a hunting tool. A lot of my mates had shotguns, but never had centerfires, and that was obviously a lot easier. And like I would say that every single person I shot with, apart from my uncle, was a wing shooter. So all of my mates, everyone kind of my age, everyone growing up, we were all pretty much pigeon and duck shooters.
Yep.
And only my uncle was the only bloke I knew that was a deer stalker and had his deer stalker's license.
Yep. Oh, that helps the gene pool of the deer.
God. But we were allowed. So we had a Tikka T3 Hunter, timber stock 243 with a silencer on it. That was our deer gun. So, and pretty much all of our guns had silencers on them. Even our air rifles had silencers on them.
Next minute you move to Australia and oh God, there's no logic behind any reasoning as to why they're illegal, apart from some dude in the government's watched fucking too many Rambo videos.
He's watched, he thinks everyone with a silencer is a hitman or something.
Yeah. It's bloody ridiculous.
Something like that. Cool. Well, we're done with the formatted questions now, so we'll go a bit free range with you, Ross. So what we want to do now is take you way back and ask you where your journey with hunting, fishing, the outdoors all began. Where did you first find yourself out and about?
Cool. Maybe I'll go back to England a bit and we'll talk about that a bit more. But I guess I was a fisherman before I was a hunter, and I would say I wasn't even in school yet. And I went to one of those $2 shops with my grandma when she was babysitting me for the day or whatever. And there was like, $2, my first fishing rod. Picked one of those up.
It's still more expensive than Ryan's.
Picked one of those up and went to a little reservoir and had these huge hooks on them, and ended up catching some rudd and roach as like on my first ever go. And I think since then I've just been hooked on fishing. And then as soon as I kind of got my license, so in the UK you can get your license at 17, car license, driving license. And obviously my uncle got my 2.2, my Virac, and used to just shoot the shit out of bunnies on a lot of small holdings. So we have small holdings in the UK, which are just outside of, town centres, and they're probably 3 or 4 paddocks. People can do with them what they like, farm hay and all sorts. And I used to have access to a couple of them and just used to shoot the shit out of bunnies on there. And I did that for a long time, as well as helping my uncle with the deer, and then slowly getting into pigeon shooting with my mates. And we had such a ball hunting pigeons. But going back to hunting, shooting rabbits, we bought a 410 shotgun, and the whole barrel was what they call a moderated barrel. So the whole thing was a silencer.
Oh, wow.
And because we were hunting right next to homes and walking tracks and dog walkers, we kept things as quiet as possible. And we used to shoot a lot of rabbits with those things.
That sounds like a little bit of fun.
That's a good start. I like it.
We used to sit out the sunroof and spotlight them and roar up on them and shoot them in the lights.
Few tins later.
You are, well, I guess I probably was drinking underage, and I definitely was drinking underage, but you get your car license at 17 in the UK. So when you turn 18, all of that you wanting to drive everywhere is gone, and all you want to do is drink.
Yeah.
And you don't jeopardize your car license, because at 18 years old here, you get your drinking license and your car license. And, it doesn't always go hand in hand. Well, it never goes hand in hand.
Very good, very good. So you didn't have a centerfire in the UK, is that right?
No, we didn't. My uncle had the Tikka, T3 Hunter, and it was his gun, and he did all the paperwork for that. And
then you've come out here to Australia, started heading out with people. What were you heading out to hunt? Deer? Yeah, samba. I heard. So I was fishing, and a few of the guys in the club were talking about samba being like the number one, trophy species, the third largest deer in the world or whatever, all this kind of stuff. So they kind of fascinated me pretty early on. And
got friendly with a few guys. Got friendly with a guy on Instagram actually that was helping me with my bow hunting. Just, you send the odd message back and forth. Hey mate, where do you get your bits and pieces from? Where do you get your arrows from? How do you fletch them? And we ended up chatting for a while. And then he's like, you know what? You're not actually that far from me. Why don't you just pop round and I can just, show you what to do. And then we've been mates ever since actually. And I took his 338 out before I got my license with him and shot a doe, which was good. And he'd help me. And he helped me get my license as well.
Yeah, nice.
Very
good. And so you get around the whole skinning it and using the meat and all that sort of stuff as well?
Yeah, well, because my uncle in the UK, he was all on, like we used to sled the deer out as whole, even the guts and everything. So we used to take everything out. If we were further than half an hour from home, by law in the UK, if you're going to sell the meat or you possibly might sell the meat, it's got to be gutted within half an hour of the kill, or it did back then, or that's what I was told anyway. So if normally we could get back within half an hour, gut the animals and butcher them in his back at his house. And we've always taken everything from the meat. He's always tanned the pelts and done all that stuff. And he's we've done a lot of Euro mounts and stuff like that. So yeah, for me, that side of things was always there anyway.
Beautiful. Mm-hmm. That's what we like.
That is. Do you remember your first trophy sambar? Obviously, you would here.
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago, to be honest. It was off the dogs. It was about 27 and 3/4 inch sambar. Yeah.
Very nice. Very, very nice. Those they seem to elude us, but yeah. Which do you prefer, hunting with dogs or without?
I guess because in the UK and we used to do a lot of bird shooting, we've always had dogs with us. I think they're a great hunting companion and a tool. And I do love hunting with dogs. Yeah, I think it just adds that extra level to the hunt. And I just love seeing the dogs work, I guess. Yeah, so I do like hunting with dogs. But look, I'm not opposed to stalking either. I've stalked a lot as well.
We've had many a discussion about dogs versus not using dogs, and I myself personally have expressed the opinion that maybe it's not as much hunting if you're relying on the dog. But that said, I haven't had any exposure to it at all, which is what Caleb touched on earlier about how we've never really had the opportunity to query anyone who hunts with dogs like yourself. So
yeah,
that said, if you could break down the process of hunting with the dog and what the dog does in terms of assisting the hunt, like for those of us that don't know, could you just break that down for us?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. No, that's a good question. I think people think that you tip dogs out of a truck and then a deer comes out of the bush and you shoot it on the road, which just doesn't happen.
I'm not going to lie, that's the picture I had in my head.
There's so much like planning, tracking the roads. The organisation in organising 10 blokes and 10 dogs is next level, like more planning than you've ever done in any hunt you've ever stalked for. So you got to make sure that you can control an area, or how can we control the area? Who's going to go where? Is there any fresh deer in there? So we might walk the road, find fresh tracks, walk the dogs in on fresh tracks, and you've got to guess where you think the deer's going to go, and have blokes and the dogs and have guys in areas where they can cut off the dogs or the deer or both. And the organisation that goes into that is next level. I mean, you spend a lot of time running after dogs. I mean, the hardest days I think you'll ever have in the bush is with hunting with dogs. There, it's not easy. You're chasing after them. You're trying to get them back, trying to get them onto fresh deer. You've shot a deer. All right, let's get another deer. Let's get these dogs off this one, walk them up here, see if we can find fresh tracks and get them back onto it. So, yeah, no, it's a lot more work than you think it is. It's hard days in the bush. Like, it's the hardest hunting you'll ever do. The hardest hunting I've ever done.
Communication's hard enough without having to rely on comms. I mean, you're out there. If guys are out of range or in there, in a dead spot or something like that as well, and you're trying to get them to move into a cutoff position, that'd be quite difficult to sort of get going, especially if the dogs are on tracks. Like I'd imagine.
We do use, pretty good communication equipment, and that's it. Communication is key. I think back in the days they used to fire 2 shots means come out the bush or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, they used to fire shots to try and communicate with guys. But yeah, radio, I think communication has helped a lot, and probably helped get more deer too. But I think it's made it safer as well. And I think the good crews are the ones that can communicate on the radio. And, especially, for us in the UK on driven hunts and beats, if the beaters let us know which direction they're traveling, so us coming up behind them would know not to take the wrong turn and stuff like that. I think communication is definitely key, and having a good organizer. I think you do need like a hierarchy. You do need someone to take charge and to boss people around, and you probably know that from being in the army, Josh, that you just do need that person to take control of it.
Yeah.
So would you say that the dogs, when we say dog hunting, I instantly think of like hogs, like pig hunting, where you've got your finder and your holder and that sort of thing. Is it similar with deer as well, or do you just use them to find and flush the deer?
No, totally different. So there's a couple of different ways. You can do the whole flush hunting. So you might hunt a small patch of ground. Like, I'm pretty new to hound hunting in Australia, but I've done a fair bit of it, in my whole hunting career, I've done a bit of it. But I'm definitely no houndsman. I'm not an expert. But there's a couple of different ways you can do it. You can flush hunt, where the dogs are just there to kind of try and find them and flush them, but they never catch up to them. They're slower. And the same with foxes as well. Or you can do, actually scent trailing dogs, where the dogs will just keep going on the deer and just keep following it. But the deer can be half an hour in front of the dogs sometimes, they're not right up its ass. They're not biting at its ears like they are with pig hunting. That's my experience anyway. I've never seen a dog bite a deer. If you normally, I guess I'm quite lucky that I've paired up with a really, really good crew, and we tend to get the job done pretty quick.
Do you have a favourite dog? Do you have a dog yourself?
I've just got a Labrador. I don't have a hound.
Yep.
But in the crew, we've definitely got our favourites. There's dogs that we hold on pedestals that the guys have shot a lot of deer off. They've got their grand champions. 100%. There's definitely a big hierarchy in the dogs. There's grand champions, dogs that get special treatment. 100% there is. Dogs, there is. We call them the grand champions. And
what is the shit dog of the group?
His name's Ryan.
I guess that you focus a lot on the champion, and it's a pack, isn't it? They're pack animals. They hunt as a pack, and I guess there's always a leader of the pack, but and the others are just that next level behind it. So we don't really have. I guess the dogs that don't hunt, the ones that don't go, and the ones that turn around and run the other way, they just don't go out the next week.
Mm-hmm. But it's very much when someone gets a deer, it's considered a group effort, isn't it? More so than singular.
Yeah, and everyone recognises that without the dogs, we wouldn't have got those deer as well. We do shoot sneakers, and we shoot. We'll all walk in the morning before a dog's even left the box. But if we see a deer, you shoot it, and that's just the rule in the bush. But, it's never as an achievement. Oh, shot a good stag walking in. It's not like the whole idea of it is you want the dogs on the deer and you shoot the deer, and it works that's how it's meant to work. And then that's what you aim for.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, given the three of us have never been hound hunting, I'm assuming a lot of the shots are when the animal's actually on the move. Would that be fair enough?
Yeah.
So how do you find that?
You normally have to take 4 or 5 shots with it for me anyway. But I think that's why a lot of hound guys use levers or pumpies.
Would you say a semi-automatic would be appropriate?
I think just maybe a full auto 50 cal.
Oh, there you go. Now, we've got a long-standing argument amongst us whether semi-automatics are appropriate for hunting, or whether you need them for hunting or not. And Caleb is in camp no, and we're in camp yes for semi-automatics.
Yeah, I think so. Like, I used to hunt with a semi-auto shotgun in the UK. I only had 3 shots because that was the legal limit. But look, I could see how like a 5-shot semi-automatic, 308 or 3006 or something could definitely help in a hound hunting situation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But look, Vic High Country is quite thick, so I can imagine that you'd get very, very fleeting moments of seeing the actual deer before they weave in and out of that thick scrub. Do you get many across gully shots?
No, not really. Yes, there has been, but it's pretty rare. I think you stand blokes, you put people in positions where they're more open. If that position is a 6K walk down a ridge that they've got to walk back up later that night to get to the bottom into a river or something where they can see up and down the river, then so be it. That's where you got to walk, and you walk up and down the river hoping that they jump in the river, because if they're not in the river, you got no hope of seeing them.
Mm-hmm.
But after fires, and there is more open places than other, but I think that's, I think that is why hound hunting in certain areas can be so successful, is you can hunt in thicker bush and still get, good success.
Yeah, the last time we went to Vic was a while ago. Or actually, the first time we went to the snow, I reckon I bumped. I reckon it would have been about six sambar, and I saw one. That was it.
Yeah.
But I heard the rest.
I was talking to one of my mates today that went hunting. We both managed to not sneak out anymore, but both managed to get out and get up the bush. And he said that the place he's been hunting in the last kind of 7 months, since he hasn't been able to go since COVID, he said the bush is double as thick.
Oh.
And he said it's he said the deer can hear you coming a mile away. So he didn't get anything, didn't even see anything.
Have you done much hunting with tree stands?
In the UK, all of it, pretty much all the deer hunting was in, we used to call them high chairs.
High chairs.
That's fancy.
Isn't that what you call the seat for your kids that you put at the table?
Yeah,
the high chair?
it's a high chair.
Yeah. Well, that's basically what they are, isn't it? But just on bigger stilts.
I guess so.
Yeah, makes sense.
How do you find that?
You stand them up against the tree.
I mean, that does sound all right, just sitting in the one place and looking around for something to come your way. Is that a good day out hunting compared to walking around and thrashing through the bush?
I think that maybe we're a little bit more spoilt here than you are in other parts of the world. There was stalking opportunities and stalking on like fringe country, but you're in the bush or you're in the woodlands, but you're looking out over a farmer's field. But yeah, like I think the Vic High Country is the size of the whole of the UK, maybe bigger. So, we don't have that vastity of wild, wilderness that you guys have got here, or, we've got here. But, I think, it's, I don't know. It's hard to say. It's different experience, and I wouldn't knock it until you tried it, I guess. And if that's all you've got, that's kind of all you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a fair point. I'd like to try it, actually, tree stand.
Yeah, I'm convinced that because when we went to Vic, that we saw a lot of just heavy, dense scrub that you'd be like, there's fucking definitely deer in there. You just can't get in there. So a tree stand would have been ideal.
Yeah, I don't think it's really taken off. There's definitely guys doing it. I don't think it really has taken off here like it has in the US or the UK, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, because sitting in fucking 30-degree heats, fucking stuff that, and going in the river with a tinny.
Yeah.
We have actually come across a few tree stands in the bush when we've been out in Vic, and you just stumble across them. You're like, oh, wow, that's interesting. But I couldn't imagine parking myself there all day.
Oh, you need something to help you pass the time.
Well, in the UK, we'd never park ourselves there all day. We'd either get there in the dark and wait for the sun to come up and probably an hour after, or we'd get there a couple of hours before dark. We would never sit there all day. And because our areas were never hunted by anyone else, and we had CWD, munkjack, roe, fallow, reds in that area, we were fairly successful. I would say that out of 3 trips, you'd have 2 successful ones.
Oh, wow.
That's all right.
Yeah,
That's outstanding.
That's pretty good.
Bloody hell, I've been to Vic 9 times and got one thing.
This is in the UK. This is, in the UK.
Yeah. So on species of deer, you've just rattled off a few there. What ones have you hit in Australia? Just sambar, or you gone fallow and a few others, or?
No, just sambar. I've haven't really had the opportunity or seen anything else in the bush. We did go looking at a fallow rut location. Me and a mate, we camped up, got up in the morning, went down a hill. What was standing in front of us? A dirty great samba, and that hit the deck. And we were there for fallow. But, look, can't complain too much. But no, I think because I'd shot fallow in the UK and reds in the UK, and I knew that there was no option for samba in the UK, I really wanted to hammer those. And I kind of thought to myself when I got here, let's do everything that I can't do in the UK so I have these experiences. So like catch Murray cod, catch marlin, catch tuna, catch, these other fish that we don't have in the UK, shoot samba, and that I wanted to chase those, more iconic Australian species that aren't available anywhere else.
Well, that's fair enough.
Did you take a roe deer in the UK?
Yeah, so Chinese water deer, monkjack, roe, fallow, and a red hind.
Oh, wow. Very nice. Very nice.
So you've mentioned earlier that you've been around the world. Have you hunted in other countries?
I've shot some stuff in the US, but I wouldn't really say I've hunted there. No, I haven't done any of those big elk hunts or anything like that. But no, not really. Just here in the UK, I would say that I've had a good crack at hunting.
What do you mean
shoot in the US?
Yeah, shot stuff in the US.
Like cans or?
Yeah, well, I went. Yeah, shot all sorts of guns. Went to a few, mostly at ranges. Got taken out, into the woods and just shot cans and other bits and stuff too. A few birds, but yeah, nothing, no deer or anything like that.
Yeah.
We weren't there hunting. Put it that way. We were there just shooting.
So you got to experience various other guns and calibers that you otherwise wouldn't have been able to. Is that what you mean?
Mate, one day I was over there. I was about 16 years old, and this guy took me. So I was staying with this family, and he took me and the boy that the son of the guy I was staying with took us both up to this gun range. And mate, he had an arsenal fit for an army. He had about 25 different pistols, revolvers turned into 22s, 44 Magnum revolvers, Glocks, different handguns, Walders, up to all these 22 semi-automatic rifles, up to 30 calibers, 308s, up to a 50 cal Barrett. He had everything, and we shot them all.
What was your favourite? Do you remember?
16 years old, shooting the 50. I did not want to shoot that after the first round.
It's not that bad.
And then I went back to the 2.2 revolver and just shot some targets with that. But no, it was good, and opened my eyes to how much freedoms, I guess I don't know if that's the right word, but but then how stringent they are on rules over there. They love rules and authority. Anyway, that was my understanding. That was my view anyway. But no, I had a ripper time over there, and got to shoot a lot of different guns.
Would you go back?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Well, America's a lot of fun.
Well, that leads to the question. Is there a dream hunting location and species to target for yourself?
I think I'm still just obsessed with samba in the high country, hey?
Fair enough.
Really?
Like, it's some of the best hunting in the world, and it's the only place in the world really where you can hound hunt for deer still. I know they do they use those elk hounds in Norway and those Nordic countries, and they chase elk with them. I think that would be something I'd be interested in.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
But I don't know how much I'd want to traipse through up to my knees in mud for the whole day.
Yeah, I'd give that a miss.
I'd do it.
That's a good question though. What are your guys' dream hunts?
I'm pretty simple. I just want to go to Montana and elk hunt.
Yep.
That's pretty stock standard, I guess. But look, I just want to do it. Once I've crossed that off, then I'll move on to something else.
It's a question that's probably more intricate than you can describe, because let's face it, we'd all want to do elk and bear. Like, it's something that every hunter sort of would like to. Like, if the opportunity come around, you're not going to be like, nah, I'm not going to. Nah, I'll pass it up. But I think for myself, it would be wolf, actually.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, I mean, we've It's just the last time we spoke about this, I think I've changed my opinion a little bit on the whole trophy hunting thing. Yeah, like the dream for me would be to go like Arctic Circle, like go somewhere that's just fucking cold. But it's not just you're hunting, you also it's like a fight for survival. Like it's a survival.
He's
thing.
only going to take a knife and no clothes, nothing else.
I'll only eat what I kill. But like for me, like hunting for me isn't just about taking home the meat. While that is definitely the reason why I do it, but it's also the challenge in the environment, that sort of thing. So wolf is definitely on my to-do list as well as far as hunting goes. But I'd love to go out with just some Eskimo tribe somewhere, go just like polar bear hunting or something weird like that.
Muskox.
Have you seen that that episode of Jim Shockey when he does that those is it whale hunts?
What?
No, I haven't actually.
Yeah, he's not allowed because he's not like Inuit or whatever it is. He's not actually allowed to go, but he can go as a bystander.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And they take these little canoes that are like stretched skin, and they stretch the skin and tie them onto rope, and they paddle them out, and they use these like homemade harpoon things to kill whales. Like that's in that type of
that sort of thing.
Circles.
Fuck yeah,
Fucking kill a whale.
yeah, man.
Oh, you're a degenerate.
Maybe. I'm not going to argue with that.
Fucking hell.
Oh, dear. Actually, I was listening to Joe Rogan today. I was listening to the episode he did with Jewel, the singer, and I had no idea. She grew up as what she called a homesteader in Alaska.
I don't even know who Jewel is, mate.
She's a singer, man. Like, just come on. Anyway, she's quite famous. And what that entailed was basically, at the time, her grandparents moved from, I think it was Switzerland or Sweden, to Alaska because the government was just handing out land for free. And her grandfather just like crawled across glaciers and found somewhere to set up camp basically and started.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I'm like, and so she grew up with having to go collect water, like grow all their own vegetables, ate what they hunt. So yeah, I'd recommend that episode. It's actually quite interesting.
That is definitely a good way to live.
But that sounds like how Ryan would like
Fucking
life to
oath.
be, just land
Is she
somewhere with
single?
nothing. Jewel, I have no idea. She's a lot older than you now. But
That age is just a number, bro.
I think we all have dreams of being able to exist outside of the way society is now, where you got to go work your 9 to 5 to make your money, to go do the things you like doing.
Yeah.
We all love hunting and being in the outdoors. How good would it be back then where you're just existing? You're in the middle of nowhere. You got to build your own cabin. You got to hunt every day, collect your own water. That would just be awesome.
It would, but sometimes I think with modern day life, if you just need to nip to the shops to get some milk for a coffee, you don't have that luxury anymore.
Instead of breeding a cow to feed it, to then fucking milk it,
Growing your coffee beans.
to just have to grow the coffee bean and then to have a fucking coffee. You are right. And that's definitely something that we like take for granted, the ease of that. But my question to you is, could you live without a screen? This is to everyone. Like, could you actually live without a screen?
I'd like to.
Well, look, I guess high calibers, I guess you'd call it kind of, I'm the face of it, but I guess you'd call it an e-commerce business, and it runs off a screen.
Yeah. And Caleb's nightly routine is fucking watching Desperate Housewives. So, can you live without that?
I reckon I could.
But
And we do a podcast. Hang on, that records.
I reckon I
fucking
could,
screen.
but I wouldn't want to.
but you could have that lifestyle and have a screen. The technology exists today where you could keep in touch with the outside world, run a business. And
I had a farm 45 minutes down the road, mate, and couldn't get reception. What do you mean?
it's because you decided to build a fucking farm in a deep valley. You might as well have built a fucking wall of lead and a Faraday cage around yourself.
Imagine if I had to post a bottle of oil to someone in Melbourne from fucking Alaska.
Yeah, the postage on that would be substantial. There's ways of doing it though. You'd create a local depot.
Some sort of huskies to pull it to the nearest airport to then go on an airplane. Yeah, it could be done.
You'd have to train owls or pigeons or something for that. That would be That'd be the way to go.
This sounds like that kids movie Balto. You know,
It
where
does.
They have to get
It does.
the medicine
Yeah.
across Alaska.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, what we better find out from Ross is, well, you did mention a little bit about how the business started in terms of developing the product.
Yep.
What was your initial inspiration for actually creating your own gun oil?
His shit got rusty.
Yeah, no, that's dead true.
That was just a joke.
Is it one of those cases of I could make something better, or
No, didn't know if I was unhappy with blued guns and then covering them in oil for a wet hunt, doing a hunt, camping overnight, the gun would get wiped down, go back in the bag, I'd get home on a Sunday and there'd be fucking rust spots on the gun. And you'd be like, why has all the oil come off? You wouldn't even shoot the gun. It would be wet. Why would rain pull all the oil off the gun and there'd be no oil left on the gun and you'd have rust spots? Surely there's an oil that can cling to guns better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, and I was pissed off, and a lot of my mates were just literally, if it was a wet hunt, they would cover the entire gun in WD-40, and then as soon as they shot it, there'd be this amazing fireball come out. So I thought, surely there's got to be a better way. And I think kind of the secret to my oil, it's not really a secret because I write it on the bottle, but the biggest thing about the oil is the magnetic additive that we put in there that makes the oil stick to your gun. And we've even we've actually done it with a gun. We covered a gun in oil and we put the gun in the river, and we pulled the gun out and you could see the water beading off the barrel after it sat in the water for a few seconds.
Yeah.
that's what you want?
That's wow. Yeah. I got to admit, man, I'm definitely sold on it. Yeah, it's I run I didn't have dehumidifiers for the first little while in my gun safe when I moved into this property, and I didn't even, without knowing, I just thought they'd be fine. I'd slick some G96 or something on it and they'd be fine. And then, taking the gun out periodically to check it, and then slowly noticing that the oil's dripped off of it and there's light flashing, they call it, on the gun. And it's like, fuck. And then, trying your stuff, one coat, you'd be good. I could leave a rifle in my safe for 8 months and not touch it. I was like, yeah.
That's what you want, though, in a product.
Definitely.
I think also we used a really high quality base oil. So the base oil that we buy is better quality than anything else on the market. And it's overkill. But if you're spending $10,000 on a Beretta shotgun, surely you can afford $30 for the best oil to keep it in top condition. Do you know what I mean?
Correct. Yeah.
You spend.
You're saving money.
$1,000 on.
So you're saving money. It's a little bit more expensive in the short term, but the amount of other oils that you would go through to maintain your gun versus what you would spend on the high caliber product, in the long run, you're ended up saving money.
Yeah, it's a false economy, but it's also not really that much more expensive than any other product.
Yeah, it's not. It's not, is it? Especially with the price hike of everything from the States these days.
That's true.
It's and they're not
it's
Aussie
well
made.
and truly with stands up to everything else, and it's kind of small batch too. I don't buy it in 1,000-liter drums at a time, and when they make 1,000 liters, if something's a little bit off, they can easily chuck 2 liters of another additive to kind of balance it back out. But when you're talking about doing 40 liters, you can't chuck 2 liters in to try and balance out. It's got to be. Yeah. You really need the chemist to be schmick with his blending to make sure you get that right, and that kind of costs a little bit more money in the small batches as well.
Mm-hmm. So where do you see high caliber in a couple of years' time?
Well, I've got a new product coming out, and this is probably a good kind of platform to talk about it. I've got 2 new products coming out. One that's being formulated as we speak, which has been in the works for ages, but we haven't got it right, which is going to be the high pressure oil. So it's going to be a slightly thicker oil, slightly stickier oil for autos.
Mm-hmm.
So for your semi-autos and stuff like that, for guys shooting clays, guys that might shoot 200-300 rounds a day, they want a little bit of extra protection. then they've got that will be an option for those type of shooters. You know, more in the sporting shooter industry, the clays, maybe people shooting pigeons in the UK that might shoot 100 pigeons in a day, might go through 200 rounds easily. And also I've got this cleaning product. It's a citrus oil based cleaner that you dilute. So instead of buying cleaning products and 90% of them is water, I'm not watering up these ones down. I'm selling it to you as a concentrate. And if you want to mix it, you know, say 50 to 1, it's a bore solvent, or 30 to 1 is a bore solvent. 50 to 1 is a all-round gun cleaner. You know, 60 to 1 might be cleaning oil off the gun. And you can add the water to it, and you can clean anything with it. It's like we're going to call it our all-purpose cleaner. And it's going to be like a water-based stuff, so it's going to be easy to ship. I'm not going to have to jump through hoops to get it to ship. And it's going to be based on citrus oil, orange oil. So really, it's a premium product. It's quite expensive, that citrus oil. But you'll be able to clean it. You don't be able to clean anything with it. So if you're away fishing or you're away hunting and you're away for a few days and you want to clean the boat down, or you want to clean your gun or your rifle, you can mix some of this up and you can clean your car down with it. You know, it'll take anything off your car. You can clean your rifle down with it. You can mix it a little bit stronger and use it as a bore solvent. So it's going to be that's going to be another interesting product. And then I guess I want to move. I don't know. I was thinking about moving down like this boutique kind of small run Aussie made tools. So one piece brushes and other bits and pieces and cleaning rods and stuff like that. But it's just hard to get that stuff made here.
Yeah.
100%.
Definitely there is some product like the cleaning brush that could certainly be engineered to be a little bit better. I mean, we all probably go out and try and find the old dentist tools to clean some parts of our firearms. So, yeah, a brush could certainly be engineered a little bit better for cleaning a rifle, that's for sure. But that sounds very interesting, and that's a smart way to certainly have one cleaning product to rule them all.
Yeah, what do you think of that? It's developed, it's made. I've got it in the hands of some guys for product testing. You like that idea that you take, half a litre or a litre of something in the back of your car and you could use it for anything if you water it down, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Mate, I think that's a brilliant idea, especially when you're talking about pack hunting as well. If you're out for a long-term pack hunt and all you need is a tiny little bit of something that you can add water to, that's definitely an appropriate application for that as well.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, without a doubt. And that's the thing, if you're hunting from a backpack with a group of mates, well, one can take, one lot of solution, the others can take another if needed for something else. Yeah. Or you clean your dishes with it or something like that.
I guess probably the important thing with that one is the packaging it comes in and whether that can dispense a certain amount, like with those additives for cars where you can squeeze it and it has that little reservoir where all right, that's how much I'm about to pour in.
2-stroke oil.
Yeah, that sort of thing. So I guess that's probably the key with that one, in being able to spell it out for the lowest common denominator with people so they don't have to get a measuring cup out and stuff.
Well, we are probably going to make it even simpler than that, and I'm going to do something like I'm going to have it in a half a litre and a 1 litre bottle, and it's going to be like 3 caps to 1 litre bore solvent, 5 caps to 1 litre, general purpose cleaner, 1 cap to, 1 litre of water, general, light wash for, outside of the gun. So it'll be even kind of simpler than that rather than have those expensive 2-stroke bottles.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's perfect. Like I said, as long as it spells it out for the lowest common denominator of people, because people are a bit thick. People are thick sometimes. So you want it to be as easy and user friendly as possible.
How harsh would it be on the bore to say, you run sweets down a bore, after 15 minutes it's starting to sort of eat away at that steel. It won't be that corrosive?
No, nowhere near that corrosive. But obviously, it is acid, being a citron-based, an orange oil-based product. Mm-hmm. It's kind of lubricating too. Like, it doesn't dry up like a solvent does, so it's really good in the bore. It definitely seems to clean out carbon really well. And if you really needed to and you want to scrub it, you could just use it neat and then kind of water it down afterwards.
Yeah.
But we used a solvent-based cleaning solvent for the round one, basically, of our bore solvent. You wouldn't want to get that shit on wooden stocks, where orange oil will stain it at the start, but the oil will eventually dry and you'll be able to, it won't damage the rifle over time, where like a high solvent based will darken your stock and you can never get that back. And also shipping solvent is hard too because it's flammable.
Yeah.
So we basically done we had to reinvent everything, with the bore solvent to try and create something that, we could ship and wasn't going to long-term destroy anything, was Cerakote safe and then wasn't going to pull paint and all that kind of stuff. And I think as a natural product, that orange oil seemed to tick all the boxes.
Speaking of shipping, how have you found that through the COVID period with getting your product out to people? Because, everyone's sort of been suffering a bit in that space.
Yeah, well, obviously with my day job, we ship a lot of items as well. But the customers that I've got with High Caliber have been really understanding. It's been fantastic. I've had a couple of shipping issues, but I've never had a customer complain on that. I've shipped with Australia Post. I use good packaging. I try and bubble wrap the stuff up as best as possible. There has been delays, but no, on the whole, it's been fairly good. I've had a couple of things lost in the post. But, if you're shipping 1,000 bottles over a year, one of those 1,000 seems to go missing somehow. But no, it's been overall a good experience. And the customers have just been great. And I'll always bend over backwards for a customer. And if they didn't get their item, I'd ship them out another one the next day, which has only ever happened like once or twice. So, and I think because we can control the product, it's our product. We're not, we're not buying it in from someone else. Then, we've got it all on hand, and if there is ever an issue, which there never is, we'll bend over backwards to get the issue sorted.
Perfect.
Very nice. And you do have also your food grade oil too.
Yeah, I've got my food grade oil, and we've got the fishing reel oil as well.
Yeah. For people who don't know, just describe your range of oils that are available.
Yeah, so the three main oils that we're running at the moment is we've got the food grade, which is in the white packaging, which is a totally 100% food safe, non-toxic, environmentally stable oil. So for people, who are worried about chemicals, not that there's anything in my oil that's harmful, but there is a cleaning additive in there that is technically labeled as toxic. So if you wanted something that was 100% safe, if you're in the bush and you spilt it and it's not going to do anything, then that's a great option. So it's good for food processing, everything like that. It's not going to make you sick. It's not going to, it's not going to do anything. It's just totally, it doesn't cause any damage. Then we've got the premium fireman and tall oil. That's like our flagship product. That's the first thing we invented. Fantastic. It's got magnetic, anti-static additives, state-of-the-art magnetic. It was just, very latest technology in oils when that was produced. And then our fishing reel oil, which is a very similar blend, but slightly thinned down and with a bit more water displacing additive in there. And then we'll have our fourth oil, which everything's done, like bottles, labels is all done. We're just waiting for the formulation, which will be a slightly thicker version of the premium, which will just be for, your sporting shooter, someone that really just wants that extra level of protection or that extra level of lubrication, should I say, on their gun. We also do mats. We've got a couple of different versions of cleaning mats. So something to put down on the bench to protect your bench. If you are using heavy cleaning solvents, brake cleaner and stuff like that, which I know people use, you can put that down so it doesn't damage your bench. And we box it all up in kits, and we do cleaning cloths and bits and pieces, and we got some T-shirts and accessories and stubby holders and stuff like that too as well.
Beautiful. And where would people find all these things? Website?
www.highcaliber.com.au is the website. But we're on Instagram as High Caliber Cleaning Supplies and Facebook as well.
I like
Very
it.
good, very good. Brian, you need to take something away from this because I'm pretty sure your straight pull Adler has never seen a fucking ounce of oil on that damn action.
I will have you know that I oiled it yesterday for the second time since I've had it.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Nah, it's a good act. It's a good little gun, actually.
Mate, that thing's perfect. It's perfection. That's what it is.
It is.
It's great. No, look, I'm very lazy when it comes to gun care. So I think the high caliber product is right up my alley where it's sort of a set and forget thing, man.
Has a little bit extra love.
Yeah, man. That's exactly right.
Spend more time loading or...
I shot 10 rounds off on the weekend, and obviously I'll probably need to run an oil patch through the barrel, but still plenty of oil on the bolt, still plenty of oil on the barrel. I was in wet terrain, long grass. The gun was coated in water at certain stages, and yeah, it really is like it's almost like a coating for your gun that you just need to apply every few months, you know.
Mm.
Yeah.
Definitely. I do have a question. Would a degreaser be in, or would the citron cleaner be suitable as a degreaser when you first get a firearm and you're just getting that packaging grease out of it?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it is. It is based on a degreaser product.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, the additives and the way that it's been formulated is based on a product that they already have in their lineup that is a degreaser, but it's been changed a little bit so that it's still in a concentrate form and it can be diluted, and a few of the additives are changed to make it my own and sell it under my own name. But yeah, no, 100%. So any carbon grease, it'll clean everything up, you know. So basically on a molecular level, it helps bond water with hydrocarbons. So it will bond water with grease, oils, contaminants, stuff like that. It will also take off our oil, the high caliber oil as well. So you will have to, if you do get it over the barrel and you give everything a good clean, you will have to give it a good oil down and recoat it afterwards.
That's good to know, actually, because I've been looking for a product to do that, exactly like something that I trust to degrease.
Because you buy so many new guns.
Any of my new firearms. Well, I do have a new build coming in, and I was going to degrease the action before it went in, but yeah, probably won't actually do it until it's done.
That's all right. You probably have enough left over, so in 3 months' time when you buy another gun, you just use it then.
What?
I don't know, mate. It's your new gun that you're getting. You seem to get one every couple of months.
That's because I'm an avid shooter. They pay me out, mate, because like I like to play with some new toys from time to time. But that's all right.
Attention span, he gets bored easy. Anyway, I think we've reached a natural pause in this conversation. We have to say thank you to Ross for his time. He's been very generous tonight.
Very informative as well. I've learnt a lot speaking to you, sir.
And it has been a very interesting learning about another little Aussie business that's started up. And we love your sort of story of just being inspired to do something better and starting a business. So, yeah, thank you, Ross. It's been great having you on.
No, thank you. No, it's always a pleasure to do these things, and it's always learning a lot. And yeah, it's great. No, thanks very much.
No problems at all. And for those listening at home, how do they find you again on Instagram?
Yeah, High Caliber Cleaning Supplies, Instagram and Facebook, and yeah, highcaliber.com.au as the website.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Get
Ladies
on
and
it.
gentlemen, get on it. Go down there, give him a like, give him a follow, buy some product, get on it.
Sounds like a
do it.
plan.
He's got some new stickers out too. So
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, got some nice ones made up. No, they're pretty cool actually. They've been good sellers, and I'm going to probably do once they run out. I'll do like a limited edition sticker every kind of couple of months.
That sounds like a very good idea, actually.
Nice one.
Yeah.
I like it.
Keeping
All right.
an eye out for them.
Well, let's leave it there. And yeah, we've been Send It Mate Podcast.
All right, dude and dudettes, you stay good cunts, and we will see you next weekend.
Well, I see he's put a lot of thought into the.
Wow. Is that your
outro
word of the
as well.
week? Is it? Fucking hell. Anyway, we'll get out of here. Big thanks to Ross. Thanks, mate.
Thanks again, mate.
Thanks, buddy.
Awesome. Cheers, guys.
We have been Send It Mate Podcast. Get on the Instagrams, share it with your friends, tell everyone how fucking hilarious I am, and say good day to your mum.
Peace. Take it easy.
G'day, dude and dudettes. Josh here. Do you find it hard to keep your long, hard barrels free from gun STDs? Maybe you need a clean out of your bore. If this is you, jump on over to highcaliber.com.au and use the promo code SENDITMATE to receive a 10% discount on all your gun cleaning needs. And remember, it's sexy to support Australian-made products. Everyone here at Send It Mate uses High Caliber, and we can promise you that it'll keep your firearms free from those pesky gun STDs.